Hi everybody, Matt Bernier, Dan Illman, taking a look back at this past Saturday's Kentucky Downs Ladies Turf. And let's break from the gate. Looking at the race prior, it didn't seem like there was a ton of speed signed on, and it kind of played out that way where Zepessa, we know what her game is. She's going to be forwardly placed, but Miss Temple City, she wasn't going to let her get too far away.
Miss Temple City's greatest asset is her tactical speed, and she can be placed wherever Edgar Prado wants. She is completely adaptable, and she is completely comfortable here. Zepessa ends up on the lead. This is Zepessa's distance. Miss Temple City, Edgar's not taking any chances. He's got her in a great spot. He feels he's on the best course. The question is, will this filly handle this course?
And you see Zepessa, she's loving life on the front end. Ears are up, and she's, again, the fractions, it's difficult to really assess what we're looking at Kentucky Downs, but she's out there doing it seemingly well within herself. Meanwhile, like you said, you have, at this point, Edgar Prado and Miss Temple City keeping her out in the clear, basically saying, if she's going to lose, it's going to be because she's not good enough, not because we're going to get stopped.
And it's such an important race for Miss Temple City. You don't hold the Royal Ascot race against her, but she was so disappointing in her return from Europe and the matchmaker that there were some folks wondering maybe she can't run anymore. Maybe she has lost her form, and she was really game here to take on a good horse in Zepessa at a distance that Zepessa relishes. She gets her, and she does it pretty handily.
Briefly, it looks like Linda is going to shoot up the inside to try to challenge these top two. She had already had experience and success over the Kentucky Downs surface. She just flattens out. Meanwhile, the big girl is in the clear on the outside. Edgar's going to just give her a little bit of a reminder here toward the end. She's going to go on and just prevail over Zepessa in deep stretch.
I think Graham Motion took a big sigh of relief after this race. Not that he didn't think Miss Temple City was the best horse going in. That was fairly obvious. But whether she would handle this course. Remember, this race is a bridge to get to Keeneland, whether it'll be the First Lady or whether she'll defend her title against the boys in the Shadwell Turf Mile in her very next start. But Miss Temple City, step in the right direction to be sure.
Back on the beam, $3.60 on the win end for Miss Temple City. Zepessa rounds out your exacta, $3.80 to place. And your $1 exacta comes back $5.90. Linda rounds out basically your favorites of a trifecta here, and it comes back $11.20. Miss Temple City earned a 96 buyer here, winning this race, the Kentucky Downs Ladies Turf. Zepessa earned a 95. Do you think this is a sign that maybe Miss Temple City is rounding back into form, or was this a matter of it was a field that she was capable of beating, even if she was only going to fire her B or B plus game, and you're going to be looking to play against her when she faces better horses?
I'm kind of feeling that I'd like to play against her when she faces better horses, especially in a race like the First Lady. And if we're looking down the road to a race like the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf, I'm not sure Miss Temple City's a mile and an eighth horse, but if they decide to run against the boys in the mile, as they did, I believe, last year, and she ran very, very well, I'm just not sure she's in the form now that she was in last year. This was, again, a good step in the right direction, a nice, solid performance, but this was a field that she should have beat on paper, and she did.
Now, I guess I'm kind of in agreement with you because I look at it, and I, right or wrong, I'm using Zepessa as the barometer.
And she's good.
She's good, but Zepessa is certainly not what we had seen from her last year. Even with a loose lead like this where she was out there loving life, the fact that Miss Temple City only got her by a neck, only got her by a long neck, makes me wonder, maybe this was just a product of two horses that maybe they're not as good as they once were. They threw it down. It was a thrilling stretch run, and it was a good effort from both of them. I don't know how that's going to translate against better.
As for Zepessa, this is probably what she is right now, a grade 3 type. Certainly her speed always makes her dangerous in shorter distance races.
Yeah.
And I think Michael Stidham was very heartened by her effort in the Beverly D in 2016, where she stretched down, she ran so well, and then she ran very, very well again out, I believe it was in the Rodeo Drive out in Southern California. Ran very well despite missing the break in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf. And I think Stidham thought, aha, I got a little longer distance mare here. Not so. I think she's at her best at this distance. Is there another race for her? Probably. I think it should be at a mile, though, but I don't think she's like a grade 1, grade 2 type. If she shows up in the First Lady, it might be tough for her.
Linda hasn't taken the step forward that I think you and I both thought she would or hoped that she would, or a combination of the two. And really, you can look at the third and fourth place finishers, Linda and Bowley, and you can basically say, we talked about it in the preview leading up to this, if you reverse the trip in the Indiana Grand Race, you probably reverse the result. I think you basically saw that, and that's what they were. They were only separated by a length.
Absolutely, and no doubt about it, Linda ran her race here.
Yeah.
I think she tried very hard. This is just an example of two horses that are just better than she is. Yeah. Running away from her, as you said, she was in with a big chance, shooting up the inside at the quarter pole, and they just shrugged her away. She tried hard, but now I think Ian Wilkes has to say, well, we gotta maybe not shoot so high.
Perhaps she needs some cut in the ground as well. It's worth noting that big win from her last year as a 3-year-old came over some ground with some serious cut down at Churchill Downs. But it's nice to see Miss Temple City get back to the winning ways for Graham Motion. He's done well. He's handled her and said, you know what, this year really, let's call it a spade. It hasn't gone the way that they had hoped it would because of so many different things, whether it was weather or whatever the case may be, the ship over to Royal Ascot. It's nice to see her get back to the winning ways here. She wins the Kentucky Downs Ladies Turf.